Hi, I'm Marc Hubbard. I'm a patent lawyer in Dallas, Texas. I've been practicing law for about close to 35 years, uh, and in particular, patent law during that entire period of time. We're going to focus on how a patent lawyer, a traditional patent lawyer, might use a study of a patent. That's one situation where I think liquid text can be really handy. Another situation is if you are a traditional patent prosecutor, meaning somebody who writes patent applications and who prosecutes them at a patent office. I think it's still instructive of what we can do as patent lawyers who prosecute and advise clients on some possible ways you might use liquid text to make things a little bit easier and get your job done a little bit better. Liquid text also, I think, could be useful in any kind of litigation, including patent litigation. This is a study. This patent happens to be owned by Apple. I think anybody can understand what's going on here. It relates to a display, specifically to a way of arranging the internal components of it to keep a component cool using these fans inside the enclosure of the display. When we do a study, we need to figure out what does the patent cover and is it valid. Both require the patent lawyer to go in there and review what happened during the examination of the patent application. Claim one is shown here. I've excerpted, I copied and excerpted it over here. And you can see the link to it. These are the main claims. And I had some comments on those claims here. The thing that I'd be mostly interested in is the relationship between the fan assembly and these audio speakers. So we're going to need to find out what is meant by, for example, the relationship of these two audio speakers and how they direct air toward the fan assembly. Getting back to how we can use liquid text to make this easier, going back to the application as filed. Let's see here. The application as filed is here. There's drawings and a written description. And in going through this, I could go in and sort of find direct the air, let's say, and see if that comes up anywhere. So here it is, right here already, direct the air. And this is, I think, potentially a key passage. Tag, yeah, there it is. Okay, so what I'm doing here is creating tags, creating an auto excerpt, or at least I can either do that or drag, I guess, this text out, and then tag it at the same time. But or if I auto excerpt it, I can tag it. There might be other ways to tag it as well. This is a claim construction, and then direct air. So I can add that tag and this to this passage. And actually, I just meant to auto excerpt it as well. So there's the passage here. And I have here a workspace I've already set up, but I have a workspace set up for claim interpretation. I've already set up workspaces for other issues, patentability and infringement. Won't get to that, but claim interpretation is what I'm focused on now. And so I have that workspace up. It may be that some of the stuff is relevant to patentability, but I can drag some of these excerpts into that workspace if I need to, or at least create a link to that. As a subset, or I guess a child workspace, I have prosecution history set up. So if I wanted to, when I'm looking at what happened during the examination process, that's what we call the prosecution history. I can kind of build that prosecution history or the key parts of it by creating excerpts in another workspace or a child workspace. You can create a child workspace pretty easily, as I did here, by creating a link. That's an interesting thing that I think is very useful if you have too much stuff already. I wanted to create or move this this stuff into a separate area or separate workspace. I could create a child workspace by highlighting it all and hitting child, and then moving it there. If I want to go look at the issued claims and make connections to them, it creates a link to that workspace. If I want to go to that workspace, I can go to just click on that. It takes me to the workspace with the excerpts there already, the actual claims that I'm interested in. Anyways, I'm going to pull this down, and I'll just put here the parts of the specification that I think are relevant to understanding what is meant by, in claim 15 here, directing the air toward the fan assembly using the two audio speakers. So you can see here it has the tag direct the air, and if I click on that, or click on the link there, it takes me straight to the text. I don't know if there's any other instances of that. Let me see if there's any instances of direct beyond this. So it will allow me to punch them together, see all of them. I think this is one of the neat things about with text is that you can do this search, pitch it all together, and see all the instances of the word or a phrase. And so if you're a patent lawyer, this is great because you can instantly find how a term is used in the specification, because that's what we're trying to do, is try to understand what is meant by this term or phrase in the claim. And so here are examples of all these terms, or here's where they are actually used in the patent application. And these might be, or these are relevant, I think, potentially to understanding what the term directed means. So I just wanted to demonstrate the words, or how quickly it could find words within the document. And also, I guess, across all the documents as well, if you wanted to do that. In fact, that might be very useful here. I'm going to go all documents and look for direct the air. So so here it's actually, there's an instance here in this prior art patent of it. Here, these are all the instances of directed air that I might want to be able to rely on in trying to advise a client and perhaps give the client an opinion that they don't infringe. What I'd like to do is, so there's two audio speakers here. Now I like to use this inking connector to draw connections to the relevant elements in the drawings, just so that I can quickly go to the right spot. When you have drawings like this in a patent, I think this is these ink lines are the easiest way to make that connection between the two. So if I'm looking at the drawings and I want to go, well, what is that? I could go and click on the little anchor spot here. Or if I'm someplace, or if I'm looking at another drawing, but I get down to here, I go, okay, that'll take me straight to the correct drawing and the correct element. How you can find a term that's important, not only within the particular document you're looking at, but throughout all of the documents. If I'm looking for backlit, you can see it mentioned, you can see it mentioned a couple of times in this, for example, this response sets out the reasons why they're objecting to the application or rejecting the application. So I'd go through and points, I can find this stuff pretty easily all throughout the entire prosecution history, which is very useful, as well as wherever it's used in the patent application. And I can actually, I can even excerpt it, all that stuff automatically, each of those terms, so that I can, each time that term is used, I could click on it and just go straight to where that is in the specification. So there's a lot of very useful things like that. I could save a lot of time unless you sort of quickly go through this stuff, pull out the relevant passages, and then have all those relevant passages in one place. You put all the relevant passages into your workspace, and then you can have that as a reference whenever you're preparing, any kind of memorandum or opinion letter as to whether there's infringement, or any other reason you might want to use it, including preparing claim construction documents that might be used in a lawsuit. So every lawsuit, when you go back to actually prepare it, you can click on the quote and then instantly be taken to the right document and the right page. So for purposes of citing to the document, you can certainly find each instance where that term might be used, and thus at least be able to go back to the right document and then prepare the citation, the proper reference, site reference, or to the document in your brief.